All right, shalom, everybody. Can everybody see and hear me? Can everybody see and hear me? If you can see and hear me, let me know you can. If you can see and hear me, let me know you can. All right, great. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this. I'm kind of gonna. I did this yesterday online with the Augusta family, so I want to make sure the recording came out well. So I'm gonna do this for y'all. Also too, and I want to talk about real quick how to overcome a spirit of doubt and oppression. The reason we hidden these things because a few weeks ago, might have been a week or two ago, when I uploaded it yesterday. And the reason that sometimes we will cut the praise or the worship because we have some of the saints or the Kodashim ask us, can we cut just that so they can play it in their houses or play it where they're going or put it on a MP3 or a CD or whatever so it can play when they sleep, play when they need to war, because we're trying to teach the Augusta family not just the war when we together, but learn how to war when you're alone and at your house, or when things hit your mind, or when you have desperate situations to increase your faith. So through their request, we cut the worship or the praise or the worship, so they can have that just to play continuously in their house or on their way to their jobs or things like that, so it can stay in their mind and stay and keep in their heart towards Yahuwah, and keeping fighting, in their heart overall, for the things they love. So today, what happened maybe a week or two ago, I haven't last Shabbat, we were worshiping, praising the Most High. Then the Most High sent us into a war mode, and we got an information to start warring. But what ended up happening, we started warring against, ourselves and things that was going on in the assembly. And this is what I mean by that. Prophetically, when the heavens opened, the Most High began to show me specifically different spirits to come against. And every time he showed me a spirit, we will war against it. So the first spirit that we saw, he showed me when he opened the heavens was depression. So we start warring against that, right? And then the next spirit he showed me was perversion. And perversion, all these spirits come with groupings, but perversion had pornography, sex toys, masturbation, just a slew of things, that we dealt with, but we was really hitting against that. And then after that, spirit of doubt came up, and then infirmity. So we began the war against all those things specifically, and even some people got instant healing when we warred against infirmities, because some attacks are spiritual attacks. So we'll get on that another time. But we began the war against those things, and after the Most High showed me a sense that the battle was won, we got to celebrate, But then the Most High was showing me, just as Abraham went in Sodom and Gomorrah in order to snatch his nephew Lot back up, right, to bring him back when he got when he was pretty much a prisoner of war. That we tore the enemy gates down and we advanced the enemy. We was offensive against his kingdom to leave a hole there, but after you go to war, then it's time to get the spoils of war. And some of the spoils of war was prisoners of war that had been detained. So that next day, the Most High started dealing with me. He said, go and don't just war and be done. Go and find the prisoners of war that had the people in the assembly, or different ones that was under the sound of your voice, that was prisoners of war to these specific spirits. So I began to put in our chat, that direct thing, and those that have been, a prisoner of war of those things have been captive by depression, captive to doubt, captive to, perversions, infirmities. So people began to speak up and come forth that, not necessarily that it just took them, but they had been battling those things. Some, confess to, it overtaking them in some areas. And that's when we begin to focus on these things, and pull them out and pray, and also, but to give them teaching and understanding on how to overcome, so you can know how to fight these things, so you won't be captive by it again. So I'm not going to go through the chat saying shalom to everybody. I'm just going to say shalom here to everybody, and then we're going to actually go through a teaching session this morning. You won't be able to see my PowerPoint. I was trying to get it where you would be able to do that this morning, but I didn't want to prolong the time getting started. So you'll still be able to hear exactly what I'm saying and the scriptures and stuff like that. What I might end up doing is trying to email you the PowerPoint presentation. So once you go back and look at it, you can follow along with that. But if you have an attentive ear and get your pen and paper out, you'll be able to study and write down these things so you can have it. Because a lot of it is practical, and what I wanted to do is give you a practical way to overcome depression and doubt. That's the first two things we're going to deal with is depression and doubt. Practical ways to overcome it. We have some scriptural references in this, but it's not a whole lot, because it's really just taking a few principles from scriptures in the book to give you an understanding, to know how the system of your mind works, to be able to overcome. And then what you do after that is we'll do your personal study, where I'm trying to put it where, because most of I was just saying, we spoon feed too much. Where if everything is always done for you, then you're not doing the due diligence to seek out the scriptures yourself and add it for your own personal virtue. So now, instead of having so many scriptures on certain things, now I kind of admonish the people. I give you a bit breadcrumbs, but it's up to you to go find a loaf of bread and be able to slice your bread for your specific situations. So you can be, that you can play a role in your own soul salvation. Hallelujah. All right. Let's get to it. Again, let me pray first. Yahuwah, we give you all glory, honor, and praise. We just thank you for who you are. We ask that you give us understanding, you give us wisdom, you give us insight. Let the spirit of wisdom, revelation rest upon us. Let my words fall as the dew of the morning, Yahuwah. We pray that you give us even greater insight than even last night. We give you all glory, honor, and praise in the name of Yahushua. Hallelujah. All right, family. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me do something real quick so I can make sure y'all following on. We ask that you go ahead and share this video on, because it's going to be very important. Share it on your, go ahead and take this time to share it on your platforms, your social media platforms, to let everybody know that we're live, and get them on in here, because this is going to be really important to internalize. So go ahead and put it on your social media platforms, so we can go ahead and bring the family in. And go ahead and begin to like the video also too. Okay. All right, let's go. Let me pull it up. Okay, overcoming spirits of doubt and depression. This is something that you really have to understand the system of how the mind works, the system of how the thought process works, what the enemy uses in order to distract you, what the enemy uses in order to plant seeds in your mind. Understanding what your mind is and how it functions for you, where you don't allow it to just run rapid, but understanding that your mind has been given to you to possess, because we are spirit first that possess the soul. We possess emotions. We possess our mind. We possess a will. That's supposed to be our possession that brings our personality. And then we live in a body, and our body is how we function in the natural realm. But the natural realm is the farthest from the extension of what the spiritual realm is, because in the spiritual realm is where all things take place and the reality of all things exist. So we have to understand that in our spirit, the spirit is where we are able to contact the things that are outside the natural, things that are outside time and space. This is where Yahuwah meets us at. This is where we begin to visit him. He visit us in our spirit. That's what it talks about. The spirit of man is the candle of Yahuwah. He lights our candle. He illuminates our spirit for us to be able to visit with him in that realm, right? But then the soulish realm is where we have self-awareness at. That's where our emotions are stored. That's where our experiences affects our thinking. Our experiences affects our perception. Our experiences affect our emotional stability, right? And these is why Yahusha said that for us with patience to possess our souls, take control of our souls. So fears and things of hurt, pain, resentment, bitterness, these things will not take control of it because we're in control of it. But the natural realm is that's where a part of our flesh. This is how we're able to see, to hear, to touch, to smell. All these things is how we actually experience the natural realm. If you take away your five natural senses, then you won't be able to really experience the natural realm, even though you're walking in it. But we're supposed to control the body, which is our flesh, mortify the deeds of the flesh, possess our soul all through our spirit. Because our spirit is who we really are, and it's really the control center of everything. If we are developing it and growing it the right way, and if we have the Ruach HaKodesh that dwells in that realm, that way we understand that nothing can limit the spirit. It has no limitations of time and space and matter. It's beyond that. That's where the things of eternity can come in and rest in that realm and then take place in the natural realm, take place in our soulish realm. So we must understand that. I hope that's making sense to us. Hallelujah. All right, let's move. All right, let's go real quick to Isaiah 61 because I want us to understand this. What we was talking about, captives of war. After we warred, now we had to go and get the prisoners of war. We had to take them out so they won't be bound anymore to these things. It's just like us as Abraham and the trained servants. We're going in there and snatching our people out of these things. And light is how you combat darkness. And this is when the Most High spoke to me a few weeks ago. It might have been last month. And I think I spoke this, but this is how you overcome darkness. Most I was saying, learn how to become the light rather than trying to fight the darkness. Light doesn't fight darkness. It just expels and exposes it. The more light you get, the more you can be combative to darkness, and darkness will have to submit to you. At your word, you can decree a thing and it will be established unto you the more light that you get into your spirit, right? So also light represents knowledge. The more knowledge, like it says, the beginning of with the beginning of the fear of the Lord is the fear of you who is the beginning of knowledge. So knowledge is the seed for change. So the more knowledge and understanding that you get, the more light you are able to express and permeate out of you, and then the more darkness that must submit to it. So getting more light. How do I get more light? Through reading the word. And that word, the interest of that word giveth light. How do I get more light? Studying the word. His word gonna be settled in the heavens forever. He magnifies the word above his name. Right? These things are what conquers all things. He holds all things through the counsel of his own will. The word is sharp and powerful than any two-edged sword. Right? So we have to learn how to take the light to combat the darkness. You understand what I'm saying? Become light and darkness will submit to you. When you go to a dark room, you don't fight the darkness. You just cut on the light and it exposes and it expels it. So this is how you can decree a thing. This is how you can speak with authority. The same thing that Yahusha did. He spoke with authority against spirits. He spoke with authority against principalities. This is why he said we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but we wrestle against spirit, darkness and powers and spiritual weakness in heavenly places. Right? Dominions, right? We wrestle against these things. Sometimes you have to call these things out. Sometimes you have to have direct confrontation with these things that they can submit, that the light can go in their heavens from your voice, from your words, that can cut off the darkness. Right? So I want us to understand that. So now let's look at this. How it speaks of us, some of our people being prisoners of war. And now we're going in and conquering that, right? Isaiah 61. And it says, Spirit of Yahuwah is upon me, because Yahuwah has anointed me and sent me to preach good tidings unto the meek, to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives and the release of the prisoners. So once you expose and come against the enemy gates, now it's time to find those that were prisoners of war. Who needs the liberty proclaimed to them? What captives that needs to be released that was prisoners? The brokenhearted, that means your heart was scattered. It was broken. And to bind that heart back together as a spiritual healing balm and make you whole again, right? I mean, you was broken into pieces. It's now it's time to make you whole. So this is what we're doing today. We're pulling spiritually out of those things, but then we're giving you more light to teach you how to overcome. So you'll never be bound by these things again, or you know how a system to turn your light on. Everybody say turn your light on. So we're going to teach you how to turn your light on today. To give the mourners of Zion beautiful ashes. No, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuwah, the day of vengeance. The day of vengeance. To proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuwah, and the day of salvation, of vengeance of our Elohim, to comfort all that mourn. To give unto the mourners beautiful ashes, and all a joyful mourning, and a garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that we might be called men of righteousness, the planting of Yahuwah, which is glorious. So this is what we're doing, right? And this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to turn our light on, that we can overcome darkness. That when it says this, in the beginning, Yahuwah created the heavens and earth, and the earth was void and formless, and darkness was upon the face on the earth. Spirit of Yahuwah hovered over the earth, and what did he say? He said, "Let there be light," and there was light. You see, he turned the light on. Right? So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to turn the light on. But let's look at a few things. Let's look at doubt. Let's look at doubt. What is the function of the spirit of doubt? All right? You can write these things down if you can. What is the function of the spirit of doubt? The function of doubt is to call into question the truth. It's to be uncertain or in doubt about something. to call into question that which is truth. Everything else is a lie but the word of Yahuwah. But doubt makes you call it into question. If he told you that you are healed, if he told you that you're free, if he told you that these enemies you won't have to see no more, I have drowned them in the Red Sea. If he told you that this year you're going to walk in a level of freedom, walk in a level of truth, something gives you a second word to make you doubt it. We see that through the principles of the scriptures. We're going to keep showing it. Number two, it gives you lack of confidence and distrust. Whenever you doubt, you ain't just distrusting or having lack of confidence in yourself. You are distrusting Yahuwah. And I don't think we see it like that. It means to consider what Yahuwah said unlikely. A lack of confidence. To doubt your abilities. Uncertainty of belief, opinion that often interferes with decision making. And this is how we become people of paralyzed, where we can't move forward because we allow the spirit of doubt to control the way we believe about what was spoken of us. Not feeling that you are qualified, or not feeling that the Most High even love you to be able to give you the words that he spoke to you. Deliberate suspension of judgment, right? So we see these things that make us hesitant, right? That stops us from moving forward. Now we have to see how this thing operates and where it comes from. Let's keep going. Now, that's the spirit of doubt. That's what doubt does, right? Let's see what depression is by definition. Spirit of depression. Again, if you can write these things down, and try to go slow. Let me know if I wrote that too fast, if I went through doubt too fast. Are we all right? Let me know if we all right. All right. I'm going to get 3 yeses, and then we're going to keep going. All right. I want you to really pay attention to what I'm saying. This is going to help you. Depression. Depression, if somebody said it was a little fast, all right, I'll slow down. You really can just write down 2 definitions. Say to call into question the truth. A lack of confidence and distrust. Uncertainty of belief or your opinion that interferes with your decision making. So, uncertainty of belief or opinion that interferes with your decision making. All right, let's move. Spirit of depression. Or what is depression just by definition? If you just really look at it, to depress is to push something down, to keep it from elevating. You're depressing it. And ion in as a suffix is really speaking of the state of or the condition of being depressed, where you're not being able to elevate. You get to a certain point and something depresses you down. It can be the same thing as when Daniel, when he began to pray in Babylon, he was praying 3 times a day. And then he had the visitation from the Malak, Gabriel. that spoke to him and told him that I heard you the first day you prayed, but there was a principality depressing your prayers, depressing your prayers. And they had to fight in order for him to get the message up. Right. So we understand just from a visual example of what depression does. It's almost like a realm that at certain times follows you and pursue and overtake you to depress your growth and your development and to keep you in this state. And when you're in a state where you feel like you can't move, you're in a state where you feel like you can't advance, then that's when sadness comes, self-pity comes. Not being content come. You go into a spiral of saying that this is going to be permanent. And where the enemy began to slide in suicide. And it all comes from a thought. When you entertain a thought, then you call for the spirits of depression to keep you in that arena. All right? I'm going to keep going. Depression is the act of depressing or the state of being depressed. A state of feeling sad or dejection. It's a time of anger, anxiety, sadness, and also can be considered a mood disorder marked by especially by sadness, inactivity, difficulty in thinking, and concentration. A significant increase or decrease in appetite, time spent sleeping, feelings of dejection and hopelessness, sometimes suicidal tendency. If you ain't get all that, don't worry about it. I'll send you the PowerPoint presentation. But it's a mood disorder marked by sadness. A mood disorder. All of a sudden now you done got into a certain realm that then took over you that's affecting the way you feel based off of the way you have been thinking that you call this thing to you. A mood disorder marked especially by sadness. And then if I'm like this, I'm inactive. Difficulty in thinking because I can't get over this thought that's making me think that this is permanent. A significant increase or decrease in appetite, time spent sleeping, feelings of hopelessness, sometimes suicidal. A reduction in activity, amount, quality, or force. Yeah, we all didn't experience this, right? We all didn't experience this. Let's keep going. You send me your emails. Email me at HebrewNationBuilding@gmail.com, and then I'll try to send it to you after the presentation. HebrewNationBuilding@gmail.com. Y'all put that in the chat, and what I try to do is send it to you later on today. But just listen right now attentively, right? Listen and go back over this because this is going to help you become the light. Everybody say again, I'm going to turn the light on this morning. We're going to turn the light on. Now, let me give you signs and symptoms of depression. You got to get this. After this, when you understand how listen, this is where we mess up a lot. We focus so much on external management. How I look. How do I seem? Want to show that my face is okay. Let me grease my face and then let me do my hair. Let me make sure that I'm good so I won't look like something is wrong internally. Let me pray. Let me fast. Let me preach. Let me put brothers and sisters together where it seems like I'm good being able to function with brothers and sisters. I don't seem like I got no symptoms because we focus on external management, but never focus on internal management. What does your internal management look like? What does your management with your soul looks like? Or your mind or your thoughts, do they just go all crazy and wrap it on what they want to do? Whatever thoughts, whatever thing where you can summon all these things, your mind just da 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 da. Internally, your emotions just up and down, 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 where they do what they want to on their own, involuntarily. Images and pictures of past that's just jump in your mind at any time and takes you back to the reality of what happened to you. And inwardly, you can be pushing forward, and all of a sudden, something comes of a past image experience, and you go right back to the reality of it. And now you are depressed. Now you are doubting where you are or if you're supposed to be there, calling into question the truth. No, watch this. Notice this. My hands only do what I tell it to do. I don't walk around with my hands doing this involuntarily and it's doing what it's want to do. My lip don't just just do what it want to do on its own. My nose just my body just don't do that. Why? Because I control it. It's mine. It's mine. It's under my subjection and discipline. My eyes don't jump going forward and just move on its own. Why? I control it. Why do inwardly we don't treat our mind the same way and rule it through our spirit? Because this is a factory that's supposed to produce for you and bring you production. But if you don't know how to control it because it's yours and you give it its own, it will master you because somebody gonna control it and produce it. It's either externally somebody gonna control it, or you gonna have to control it internally. And that's what Hasatan want to do. He want to get in that soulish realm so he can control the production of the reality of what happens to you. Because inwardly, from your heart, from your mind, what manifests in the natural realm. So whoever control the soulish realm of your mind, of your emotions, controls the person and manifests its will in the person's life. So the enemy will give you control of everything else, but then he'll make you think that this you can't control this and that this is not yours. But I'm going to show you how the system of the mind works so you can treat it and discipline and make it your child, because it's a factory, a spiritual factory that's supposed to produce for you. And I'm going to teach you how to master it rather than it mastering you. We're going to turn the light on. So let's give you some signs and symptoms of depression. Signs and symptoms of depression. Watch this. Persistent sadness, anxiousness, an empty mood where you're just empty now. You're numb. This didn't happen to you so much that now you just learn to live with it, and now you have nothing else to give. A lot of times something happened externally, and internally you allow it to make you go out of control. And the problem is, because you try to control the external and not the internal. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control what happens in you because of what happens to you. I can't completely control the external, but I can manage the internal. And I don't care what the situation is, what the circumstance is. I'm not going to allow it to turn my internal system out of whack because of a person, because of a situation, because of a circumstance, as if Yahuwah is not enough. I don't cling to nobody where they destroy me internally because of something that they did to me externally. Like Yahuwah is not enough for me to come back to my fullness. Nobody would have my emotions like that. Nobody would have my mind like that. Nobody would throw my internal clock, my internal management in disarray because what they have done to me externally. Because what I control it, and through the Ruach, Yahuwah keeps me balanced. Now, I'm not saying I'm not going to be hurt. Yes, sometimes you're going to be hurt. Yes, sometimes you're going to have to cry. Yes, sometimes it's going to make you feel a certain way, but you have to learn how to, the danger of losing control internally and where it can take you. I hope I'm finna help you. I'm trying to help you this morning. Signs and symptoms of depression: feelings of hopelessness, pessimism, irritability, feelings of guilt, worthlessness, helplessness. This is where you have, because sometimes guilt will push you to suicide if you think something is your fault. Loss of interest, pleasures and hobbies, activities, decrease in energy and fatigue, moving or talking more slowly, feelings of restlessness, having trouble sitting still, difficulty concentrating, remembering, making decisions, difficulty sleeping, early morning awakening, oversleeping, appetite and weight loss changes, thoughts of death or suicide attempts, aches or pains, headaches, cramps, digestive problems without a clear physical cause or that does not ease even when treated. That's letting you know that there's something out of whack internally that's happening to you. And it's a reason for that. Let's keep going. Now, I want us to understand this. Yahuwah, I'm trying to show you how the mind works. And I'm going to break that down as we go. But we've got to understand this about Yahuwah. Yahuwah speaks statements of faith-filled elevations. He never deals with you where you at. He speaks to you as if you're already where he destined you to be, and he talks to you that way to make you elevate to it. He always have the bar raised so you can climb the ladder to get there. And once you get there, he raised the bar again. Notice what I'm going to tell you. It's simple, but it's important to hear. When the Most High gives us a faith-filled statement of elevation, you're going to always get a second word of doubt. Doubt comes from Hasatan to make you feel like you can't fulfill or you're not qualified to fulfill the statement of elevation that Yahuwah just gave you. He's going to always speak in your mind to make you question what the Most High gave you. Then he's gonna try to orchestrate events to make you feel like, well, I must not supposed to do this because the way that worked out. See, that's the mentality you gotta get out your head. You know how Satan can orchestrate events now. And I done had this happen and that happen every time I tried to do it, so it must mean. No, I don't go off that. Because the Most High speaks to me. He'll tell me what I don't need to be doing or if I need to stop something. But if he told me to do something, I'm going to continue it on until I finish my course or finish the goal of what he spoke. I don't let events tell me what I should do and what I shouldn't do and leave it up to chance. When Yahuwah gave me directives to fulfill, and you think because something went wrong that I'm gonna say Yahuwah must supposed to do this? No, I know that I live my life based off the word and directive. My steps are ordered by the word. The word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. That's what the word is to me. So that's how I get my directives, not about off no situation then going right or wrong. Genesis 6. Watch this. Genesis 6. I'll just give you a few examples, minor examples. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Let me do something. I'm sorry I got to do this. I'm sorry about that. Hold on one second. All right. Let's get ready to go. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Now, again, where we at? Statements of, yeah. All right, here we go. Now, you got to get this. You got to get this. That the Most High speaks faith-filled statements of elevation. I never let a circumstance or a situation tell me different than what the Most High originally told me to do. I don't leave it up to chance. I get my directives from what he speaks in my ear or what he shows me in my eyes in prayer as I'm going by the day, what he puts in my heart. I don't let something outside of me externally tell me, well, that must not be what the Most High said. Why? Because Hasatan can orchestrate things, circumstances to give an illusion that this is not what he wants you to do, right? You can even see that in 1 Kings 13 with the prophet. Most High gave the prophet a specific thing to do. Paraphrasing it, he went to, he was going to do it, and he went to this other prophet in order to get some type of confirmation in so many words. Prophet told him a lie. He believed the lie, did what the other prophet told him to do. Then the Most High killed him. I think that's in 1 Kings 13. Killed him. Why? Because he believed the second word. And we have to realize and live our life in the sense that if I listen to that word of doubt, that word of doubt gonna bring forth my death. If I go against the faith-filled statements, it's gonna bring forth my death. Real quick, Genesis 6 and 13. And Yahuwah said to Noah, to the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them within the earth. Genesis 6 and 14. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. Room shall thou make in the ark, and shall pitch within and without. Now notice this. Most High told him, he just said, go make it. He ain't see if he was a carpenter. He ain't see if he ever dealt with wood. He pulled him up the elevator. Go make something you ain't never seen before. Because it hadn't rained. Go make this huge ark that I'm going to show you the pattern on how to make it. He ain't send him to no school. He ain't say you need to go be no engineer. He ain't say you need to go get some architects. He said, you make it. Faith-filled statement. Because if you follow this, it's going to bring salvation not to you, but not just to you, but your household. Elevate and come up to it. And Noah believed Yahuwah and did it. Genesis 12 and 1. Now Yahuwah said unto Abraham, notice how he pulled you out of yourself. He do not let you walk in doubt. And Yahuwah said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show you. So Abraham went and left and obeyed the Most High. He elevated him. Faith-filled statements. Get out of the country. Get away from everything you ever known. And I'm going to show you a place. Abraham left not knowing. He said, I'm going to make thee a great nation. I will bless thee and did give thee a great name, and thou shalt be a blessing. All he gave him was a promise that if you obey this, he had never been away from his family or from under his father. But he said, leave, go, do this, and I'm going to show you great things. You know, what came after that, you know doubt had to try to sneak in somewhere. Where you going? You don't even know where you going. You sure that was the Most High that said that? You ain't never been without. Where you get a thought of to go somewhere that you ain't never been before. How you know what you're going to see when you get there. He had to do what? Trust Yahuwah. But notice, whenever you get directives from Yahuwah, then the second word is going to be doubt. And the doubt is coming from Hasatan. And the doubt is coming from out of your soul. So this is what I do. I conquer my mind through waiting on the word of doubt that give me proof that I need to do this. That's how I start having to trigger so I can make sure I fulfill the will of Yahuwah. Because when doubt comes, it's evident that the faith-filled words was given to me. Now I go full force in it. And notice, once you make your mind up to do it, all hell gonna break loose. You're gonna get roadblocks in your way. But you got to keep pushing, because if you make it to the end, you're going to receive the promise. The roadblocks is for you to qualify the promise, but not so just that. It's for you to appreciate it righteously. Because if he give it to you before you go through that straight and narrow path, before you go through tribulations, then you won't appreciate the worth of the promise based on what you had to fight for. Watch now. Jeremiah chapter 1. Hope I'm helping you. Some of y'all need to go read 1 Kings. Quit listening to that old prophet. Roadblocks coming. It's almost as if Most High showed it to me this years ago. You in a race, 100-yard dash. Most High he tells you Go win the race. You excited, right? You excited about this race. You know you fast. He say, go win the race. Then you get your mark to bend down. Then Yahuwah say, wait. Before you do that, let me put this stake on your back. If any man gonna come after me, he have to take up his stake and die to himself. So you're like, oh snap! So I got to run the race now with a stake on my back. Yeah. Take off them track shoes. I got to give you some hiking boots now. Wait a minute, how I'm gonna do this? Yeah, I got to get you out of yourself. See, you think you too qualified. You think you fast. Let me take all that off you. Yahuwah, how I'm gonna get this done? Yeah, let me tie you around your waist. So you running with the stake and the log. Now you gotta run and get past blocks mentally. Then as you running, it ain't you'll learn that it ain't about or how strong, but it's about endurance. He that will endure to the end shall be saved or get the promise. Now watch this. Jeremiah 1, chapter 4. I hope we helping you. That's it. Let me know if this helping you. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 4. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 4. Watch this. Then the word of Yahuwah came to me, who is me, Yahweh, saying, before I formed you in the belly, I knew you. Before you came out of the womb, I set you apart and ordained you to be a prophet to the nations. Now, that was before you was even formed. You were still in eternity. Then I sent you. Then I said, I beseech thee, O Yahuwah, my Elohim. Behold, I cannot speak, for I am but a child. Watch these faith-filled words. Do you, Yahuwah, speak statements of faith-filled elevation? Watch how he elevates Jeremiah. Why? Because he know all spirits come from Yahuwah. He know he was with him first, and he sent him in this realm to grow up as a baby to a child, then to fulfill his word. Watch what he say, man. Watch this. And Yahuwah said to me, do not say I am a child. Don't say that, because that's a words of doubt. I don't deal with doubt. I don't deal with doubt or fear. He said, don't say that. Let me elevate you. For you shall go into all that I shall send you. Don't worry about being no child. And whatever I command you, you shall speak. Faith-filled elevation. Be not afraid of their presence, for I am with you to deliver you, says Yahuwah. Then Yahuwah put forth his hand and touched my mouth. And Yahuwah said unto me, behold, I have put my words in your mouth. See, watch this. See, I have this day set you over nations. He said, I'm a child. But the Most High done set this child over nations, over kingdoms, to root out, to pull down, to overthrow, and to destroy, and to build, and to plant. Look at how Yahuwah speaks. He speaks statements of faith and elevations. Why? Because he knew you before you was formed, and he know what he put in you to be a light to get the job done. So every now and then he pull on that what he put in you to help you to see where he got you at. Now, watch this. Watch how Satan speaks. He speaks statements that minister doubt, that get you to question the truth, that get you to question yourself, that get you to paralyze, where he shows you an internal movie based off fear through your imagination that you ain't took this thought into captivity, that destroys your progress. And when your progress is destroyed and you think it's going to be permanent, then that's when you begin to be depressed. Your elevation begin to be depressed, and you be in a state of depression. Why? Because you're thinking that this circumstance is going to be permanent. I'm gonna get on that in a minute. All right. Genesis 3. Let's look at when the most subtle serpent, that old serpent, spoke. Genesis 3, verse 1. Now the serpent is more crafty. You got to remember, he's very crafty, subtle, than any other beast of the field that Yahuwah had made. And he said to the woman, did Yahuwah actually say, you should not eat of the tree of the garden? Look at that. He told them not to eat. He put them in the garden, told uh, Adamai, told them to dress it and keep it. Gave him directives, told him to be a priest there. Gave him authority in there. Watch the doubt. And the woman said to the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but Yahuwah said, you should not eat of the fruit of the tree that is in the midst of the garden. Neither shall you touch it, lest you die. See, you see how she's entertaining the thought of doubt? That's what we do. We sit there and entertain it, and then allow doubt to drop its seed in our garden. She should have cut that slap completely off. But she entertained it by communing with doubt that caused her to make a irrational decision that cost them the garden. Because seeds of doubt will manifest death in your life if you submit to it. Verse 4. But the serpent said to the woman, you shall not surely die, to get you to doubt the truth of what Yahuwah said. For Yahuwah knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be open and you will be like Elohim, knowing good and evil. So he also gave her the spirit of doubt, but he gave her pride also to make her think that Yahuwah was keeping something from her. And then the next verse talks about when she saw that the tree was good, she took of it and brought forth what? Death. We see this. Matthew 4. Matthew 4. Matthew 4. We're going to see this thing all the way through. We're going to see this thing all the way through. Then Yahushua was carried away by the Ruach HaKodesh into the wilderness to be tempted by the house of tongues. So why would he do that? Why would he tempt you to do that? Deuteronomy 8, to prove you, to try you, to let you see what was in your heart, to see if you would keep the commandments of Yahuwah or not. Yeah, you've been getting word in you all week. You've been getting word in you all year. It's time to certify and seal it. It's time to deliver you over to Hasatan so he can certify if you real or not. Yahuwah would do it. He'll call up your number just like he did Job. Have you considered Job? I want him to be proven. I want him to see where his weakness is at. So I'm lifting the hedge and giving you the opportunity to try them. To humble you, to prove you, to let you see what's in your heart, if you would keep the commandments or not, knowing that man don't live by bread alone, but every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahuwah. We say that. Let me say this. Do not let one situation make you throw away 5 years of teaching. Don't let one circumstance, because what you're showing Yahuwah now, you just clapped for it. You thought it was good, but you didn't internalize it. And you going from lesson to lesson to lesson, not really internalizing none of it, letting just the first time you hear it and you think it's in your heart. It don't work like that. You have to become what you continuously hear and what you continuously see. If you don't listen through instruction, then the Most High will send pain to push you where you're supposed to be. But sometimes we let a year of teaching go down the drain because one circumstance then popped up. Now everything we learned that we didn't got out of pocket. This is why boxers box and men that do MMA or all that type of stuff, they train and do the same thing all day for hours and hours and hours and hours. Why? Because they're trying to get it into their core, into their being, where it becomes second nature. They don't even think about it. Their body just reacts. Why? Because they've been meditating on that move day and night till they have became it. Now it's part of their subconscious, which spiritually and biblically is their heart. Now when a situation comes and they in a real fight, they don't lose their head and throw away all their training because they're in a panic situation. What happens? Their body goes into their subconscious, which is their heart. They go into their second nature and it perform what they've been practicing. Let me keep going here. So he fasted 40 days and 40 nights, but at last he was hungry. And the tempter drew near and said unto him, watch what he says, seeds of doubt. If you are the son of Elohim, command these stones to become bread. But the answer saying, isn't it written? Not by bread alone, but man shall live by every word that proceeds by the mouth of Yahuwah. Then the adversary took him up to the holy city, and he made him to stand in the pinnacle of the temple. And he said to him, if you are the son of Elohim, throw yourself down, for it is written that he will command his angels concerning you, and they will bear you up in their hands, so lest they strike their foot against a stone. And Yahushua said unto him, isn't it written that you should not tempt Yahuwah your Elohim? Notice he kept saying, if. What was he trying to do? Put a seed of doubt in Yahushua's head to make him doubt himself. Because sometimes all it takes a seed, and then a month or two or a year up the line, you've been in a situation, and now that seed of doubt is manifesting. Because now you're doubting who you are, doubting where you're supposed to be, doubting if you are supposed to be this, or doubting you're supposed to be that, doubting if you're supposed to be married, doubting if you're supposed to be divorced, doubting if you're supposed to be with this assembly, doubting if you're supposed to be with that. Now all of a sudden, you got directions, but because you didn't hit a roadblock, now you're doubting. But notice what Yahusha fought with. He fought with the word of Elohim, because the only thing that can conquer doubt is the knowledge of the word of Yahuwah. He kept saying, "Isn't it written? Isn't it written?" What does the word do? The word is a light. The entrance of that word give us what? Light. The word is light. It expels darkness. It kills doubt. You have to know it. And it's as simple as just Googling scriptures on doubt to be able to overcome doubt with faith, and meditate on those scriptures. Let it become part of your being. Look at it every day, consciously, till it becomes second nature to you. So when these seeds of doubt come in your head, you got the word to combat it. Let's keep going. Now, with doubt, 1 Timothy 4:1 talks about the end time that seducing spirits will come. Now, when doubt get placed into your head, right, then there's seducing spirits that come and try to sucker you into believing that this is no way out of this situation. So they come for your mind to seduce you to wander out of the way. We don't realize that these things are spiritual. We think we just thinking. Now a situation come, and then now seducing spirits come to start putting thoughts in your head. The Greek word seduce means to cause to wander, to lead astray, wandering in the wilderness without knowing your direction. A seducing spirit makes your mind to wander or leads you not knowing where you're going. So what it is, that's why, watch this. You have to take every thought into captivity that rises itself against the knowledge of Elohim. Because let me show you what these seducing spirit does. First, if a person yields to a seducing spirit and does it long enough, it will first come to distort the truth, then pervert the truth, then destroy the truth. Again, it comes to distort it, to pervert it, then destroy it. Now, Hasatan can't be everywhere at the same time. So you have adversaries that come to try to seduce you into agreeing with a thought so it can be implanted in your earth, implanted in your garden so it can manifest. That's why you got to watch your thoughts, because your thoughts become your words. Then your words become your actions. Then your actions become your habits. Then your habits become your destinies. When things then got to the habit realm, now it's a stronghold. Why? Because you didn't entertain it long enough. You didn't detain yourself for entry. You didn't entertain what something entered you, detain you for the entry of a seed of a thought that gets you to agree with it. Thoughts are thoughts. We got to realize that you have to separate yourself from thoughts. And we'll show you how thoughts develop as we move on. But it's the thoughts that you entertain. It's almost as if a mailman come to your house and you have to sign for something. First, he just put mail in your mailbox, but then certain things he come and knock on the door and ask for a signature. Now you have entertained the mailman and the mail. So thoughts gonna come in our head. but it's what we entertain or become intimate with. The same thing that happened to Kawhi, what she came Eve, what she came intimate with. That thought caused her to lose everything. So it ain't just at the thoughts, but it's the thought that you come intimate with, that you begin agreeing. Because at first he spoke that to Eve, right? He spoke that to it, and it might have just stayed in her mind. But when you look at Genesis 3, and it says, when she saw that the tree was good. What you mean when she saw? She was already able to see, but it means when she perceived. You can never go over your perception of a thing. So it's when you see that this thought of what you've been intimate with, right, then you agree with it, you then gave it power to manifest. Because these seducing spirits come into your mind to seduce you. Watch this. Watch when something happen, you married, and something happen in your relationship with you and your wife. Watch how these seducing spirits come. She really don't care for you no more. Seduce. She really disrespecting you. She really got, this, and that. He really don't love me no more. He really is not sensitive to my needs or sensitive to who I am. He's sensitive to everybody else in the assembly, but he don't care about me. Seducing spirits come into your head. You begin to entertain it. And then once you say, you know what? That's right. I believe that. Then you feel it. And it fills you with anger, anxiety, hurt, pain, and your body manifests it. Now you're walking around, can't talk to each other. Now you walk around giving each other the cold shoulder because what? You have been intimate with a thought that's not Yahuwah's. Same thing with your brother. Same thing with your sister. Same any circumstance, it can be the same thing. The seducing spirits come in to make you wonder. Now I'm gonna show you what they do. They come. This is why every thought I have to see. If I entertain this thought, where is the destination of this thought? Every thought has a destination. Where is this thought taking me? Because I can't see the end goal. I can only see it from the beginning. Now, this doubt or this thought want to take my eyes and just make me feel. So I feel like this, and I'm feeling mad, and I'm feeling angry, and I'm feeling not loved. And nobody at the assembly cares about me. Nobody at the assembly talks to me. Nobody answer my emails. Nobody care for me. I'm the black sheep. Nobody likes me. That. And what? They taking you to a certain end, depressing your growth, depressing everything that you're doing to get you to the end of death. Why? Because I didn't check the destination of this thought if I entertain it. This is why the book says take every thought into captivity that rises against the knowledge of Elohim, and having a readiness to avenge your disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. Yeah, I'm trying to help y'all today. I promise you, I'm trying to help you. I promise you, I'm trying to let you see this thing. Yeah, like, y'all don't. Please listen to this over and over. Why? Because you're gonna be faced with something. Don't just say this is good and clap your hands, and then you get into a situation. And the Most High, He always give you a word before He allow a testing time. Now, I gotta go here, right? Let's see. Started at 9 o'clock. Is it 10:20? All right, I'm gonna try to be done at 11 o'clock, but I'm gonna get through this because this is important information, wisdom to have out. So I'm gonna get through it completely. Okay. This is stuff that when you have a word that really minister to you have to listen to it over and over. You have to play it in your sleep where your spirit is hearing it over and over and over. And then not just hearing it, get action steps to do what you're hearing. Now, watch this. Watch this. Mark 10:17 through 27. All right. I want to show you this. Some of y'all that have been following me a while, you know, heard this like this before. But I want to hit it again because this is where this comes from. Mark 10:17 through 27. Watch what it says. Watch what it says. And when he was gone forth into the way, there came one running and kneeled to him and asked him, Good master, what shall I do that I may inherit eternal life? And Yahushua said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There's none good but one. That is Elohim Yahuwah. Thou knowest the commandments. Do not commit adultery. Do not kill. Do not steal. Do not bear false witness. Defraud not. Honor thy father and thy mother. Verse 20. Watch it. And he answered and said to him, Master, all these things I have done for my youth. Well, he pointed his check out. I've been teaching Torah. I've been walking in Torah since my youth, since a child. I know how to bring everything verbatim. I've been holding on to all these things, right? That's good because these are the words of eternal life. This is how you receive it, by you internalize it. So he said, I've been doing this. Then Yahusha, beholding him, loved him. Wait. Before I move on, Yahuwah beholding him, loved him, not what he was doing. Hmm. Hmm. Do you know that sometimes we can develop a gift to compensate for what we didn't receive growing up? So we become good at this so we can get the applause of where we didn't get from our father, from our mother, from those that's supposed to love us. Now we want to identify with something to become because it gives us more acceptance than just us ourselves. Do you know this is why some people come into the awakening? This is why some people study history. This is why some people put PowerPoint presentations together. This is why some people learn the language very well to get a following. Why? Because now I'm accepted by an online audience that I was never accepted in my life. And now I'm getting gratitude. And then this is why some men fall, because now they're getting attention from women that they didn't get growing up. And now, because it seems like you got knowledge that brings you power, and women are attracted to power, it ain't about what you look no more. Now I can proceed and push this, but I'm still broken within. Still got unforgiveness in my heart. Still got resentment in my heart. I still got all this, but no. Know me for my guns. Know me for my intellect. Know me because I can do praise and worship. Know me because I know all these scriptures. And said Yahuwah looked past all that and beheld the real him, that little boy in you, that little girl in you that never fully developed. And you trying to push what you can do rather than who you really are. There's nothing wrong with none of that I just said. It's nothing wrong with knowing the Torah from head to toe, because we're supposed to do that. Nothing wrong with knowing the scripture, line upon line, precept upon precept like that. We're supposed to do that. Nothing wrong with being a powerful praise and worship leader, because we're supposed to be. Nothing wrong with being able to play those djembes, because we're supposed to be able to do that. Nothing wrong with knowing history and waking our people up. Nothing wrong with building these PowerPoint presentations for it. But when you make that who you are, to compensate for you being broken, this is the type of people that Yahushua would say, depart from me. I never knew you. You only portrayed your gift. That's why you can't follow everybody, man. It's why you can't just be listening to everybody. It's why you just can't be going to channels and saying that this is my moray, and because some people can put a PowerPoint presentation together good. Now you done made that more your moray because you don't know what's in them, permeating out of them as they teach, because they teach from the entity that's in them. Yeah. I think I'm gonna be a little longer than 11 o'clock, y'all. Y'all give me some time. I gotta finish this. But Yahusha beholding him, the real him, not what he projected, and loved him. Then he hit the area of what he had become. He said unto him, one thing you lack is, go thy way and sell whatsoever you have, and give to the poor, that thou shalt have your treasure in heaven. And come and take up your stake and follow me. He was sad at that saying, and he went away grieved, because he had great possessions, because he had become them. Look at me for my big house. Look at me for my big car. Look at me for my nice and how much money I make on this job. All that compensating for the broken little boy and little girl, people. You want the way grief. Now, let me show you something real quick. Sometimes the Most High give you a bottom layer of understanding, of the basic understanding what the scripture is saying, and he'll give you a revelatory layer of how you can put light on this and apply it to the day. Now watch what I'm going to show you. All right. He said he had great possessions. How can we turn that into spiritual aspect? What are possessions? When you go through things growing up and you experience rejection, you experience stolen birthrights. What a stolen birthright. Every child that's born into this world have the right to have a loving father, have the right to have a loving mother, have the right to be born into a loving situation and loving family. That's our birthrights. But when they're stolen from us from broken relationships, now we are born, or we are developed from a broken situation, and we become broken people. Your father in your life give you direction, give you identity, give you purpose. But if he's not there, then that was stolen from you. Now you grow up with that pain of not knowing that. And then that pain becomes your possession because you feel like you have a right to hate. You have a right to be resentful. And now that pain becomes yours that you possess and store in you. Mother is supposed to nurture you with her spirit and nurture that purpose, nurture that direction, build it within you. But if she's not there, and if that relationship was bad, it becomes your possession. If you are molested by a loved one, if you're raped, if you're abused, if you're verbally and physically abused, the unforgiveness becomes your possession. And Yahushua looks at you and says, sell it. So the scripture says, buy the truth and sell the truth not. But you're supposed to sell the lie that has you hostage. He said, give it up and follow me. But some of us will be just like this young rich ruler. We'll say, we'll walk away grieved because we say that's too much. Why? Because this happened to me. And defender would get away if I let it go. They'll go away free. Got a right to feel like this. A right to keep this. Because nothing happened to the offender. So I keep it. And I walk away grieved. Because I had great possessions. See, we're identifying where we at. Wait. I got to show you now. Watch. One of the most beautiful, same thing in relationships. A boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, a wife that cheated, that did us wrong. Now we take that hurt as a possession. And Yahushua say, give it to me. You got to forgive, not for their sake, but for your sake and your relationship with me, that you can't walk around with that in you because it's going to destroy me and you. It ain't about them. Forgiveness is a process. It's not an act. That you have to pray first that the Most High allow the process of forgiveness to start in you, that you may be delivered, then that you may be healed. And Yahuwah has to be enough of the reason that you give it to him. Not the offender. It has nothing to do with him or her. But it's about you and Yahuwah, and what he has done for you and has planned for you have to be enough to allow it to go so you won't be depressed. All right. Ooh. The Most High gives us the most precious thing, which is time. Ecclesiastes 3 speaks of there's a time to everything, to every purpose under the sun. Time to laugh, a time to cry, a time to hug, a time to refrain from embracing. There's a time to everything. So the beauty of life is he gives us time to experience all these things. All right, let's look at that real quick. I want to make sure we get that. Ecclesiastes chapter 3. I want to show you this. All right, there we go. Ecclesiastes 3. I want to show you this real quick. I know all right, Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. To everything there's a season and a time for every purpose under the sun. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck, which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, a time to lose, a time to seek, a time to tie up and a time to untie, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. Notice how beautiful that he has given us was time. The principle of that scripture shows that now we have our life in phases. He desires us to go through each phase, but don't get attached to the phase. Because going through the phase with Yahuwah is about production. What can I allow you to go through that's going to produce something in you that elevates you for the next phase? It ain't about something good or not good happening to me. It ain't about that with Yahuwah. Patriarchs went through some terrible stuff, but it's about what it produced in them. Joseph went, had a dream, went into captivity, was sold there by his brothers. Did he do anything wrong? No, all he did was told of a dream that brought forth hatred. He ain't deserve that. But the Most High was looking at what's the road that he's going to have to take to get to that dream. And this is what it's going to take. He was going to have to be sold into slavery. He was going to have to become a slave. He was going to have to resist a fine queen and then be thrown into a dungeon to get him to be second in command in Egypt. He'll show you the end, but he won't show you the route to get there, because it's going to be obstacles that happen that get you to be elevated and qualify for the promise. So he wants us to go through each phase like Ecclesiastes says, but he don't want us to get attached to it. What happens? We go through phases, but we get attached to the phase, and it be 20 years later, and we still attached to what happened to us. This is why a conversation can still be about it. This is why the thoughts of it can happen, and it depresses our growth. We can go right back to that same experience because we still attached to that phase in our life. That 20 years now, we still crying about the same thing, because we didn't let the phase go and see it for what it really was. Go through the phase. Don't get attached to it. Don't be 10 years old when now you're 50. All right, so let me move, because I gotta move. All right, so rejection. All right, let's deal with rejection. I gotta show you this stuff because it's gonna help you with depression and doubt. All right, I hope well, I know I'm helping you. You're gonna be able to see this thing from a whole nother perspective and be able to overcome it because you know what's happening now. Rejection. Rejection defined: the act of refusing to be accepted, or to be used, or to believe someone or something. When you experience rejection in life, it leaves a void or a hole in you. Because really, everybody desires to be accepted. I don't care who you are. You're a desire, because it ain't natural to not want to be accepted by nobody. It's in everybody to want some form of acceptance. But when you experience rejection, it takes something out of you. And sometimes you can experience rejection at a very early age. Sometimes it's straight out the womb, where the mama and daddy weren't ready for a child, so they reject the child and don't realize you're tied spiritually to a child. So all the feelings and emotions negatively that the mother is having while the baby is in there, that baby is feeling that, because their spirit first before their body formed. Rejection of not your father not wanting you, or your mother not wanting you, or your friends picking on you because you got some type of feature, right? And you carried that. I used to hate that I was dark skinned growing up because boy, they used to get on me, and I used to reject that part of me. You know what I'm saying? And experience that. Some days I used to, as a child, I would go cry because I was like, man, why the Most High made me like this and all that type of stuff. It wasn't until I started getting in my teenage years that I really, started embracing my dark skin and loving it, and began to be, I would use it in my love, all that anyway. But those things put holes and voids, in me. Um, a lot of little things. That's just a superficial aspect, but that show you how these things can still carry, where you don't think that you was beautifully and wonderfully made. Then you in a nation um, that portrays the lighter or whiter you are, the more intelligent, the better you are, and the darker you are, the more brute beast that you are. And then we perpetuate that in our community, right? So these type of things happen, right? Whatever rejection that you might feel, that's just a low level, but it's just to show you something. So say somebody experienced rejection most of their life. So they begin to develop a fear of rejection. I'm trying to help you because they didn't like the way that non-acceptance felt. This is why you might see some people in school and high schools and different ones that their personality wasn't fully developed. Why? Because they didn't know how to be, because they was rejected, because they weren't popular, they wasn't the person that was in, right? They was looked at as weird. So they developed the fear of rejection, not wanting to be rejected anymore. So what do? They anticipate further wounding. So they try to reject you before they are rejected. And these are people that might have a spiritual stiff arm where they try to stiff arm you and not allow you to get close. And this is how, even dealing with tribal life and in the assemblies and tribes, this is how some people will develop something in their head based off what they think you said, based off their internal bank of fear of rejection. And you can say something, they get something totally different out of it because what? They are trying to reject you because they're anticipating the rejection. So this is why they begin to say, well, they talking about me, or somebody throwing off on me, or they saying this about me, or nobody likes me, or when I go to the assembly, nobody want to be around me, and nobody hugs me, and nobody. So they are because when you come to an assembly, it's going to produce your or reflect your character flaws. And sometimes if they come as the rich ruler wanting to show their guns and not you see the character flaws, they'll come up with ways to reject you and reject the tribe and try to make you think it's your fault. Because what they really fear being rejected. So they're trying to make up an excuse to put it on you that they won't be rejected. Get all that from out of what I said. Where you get all that from? All I walk to you say, man, hey, shalom, brother. Uh, shalom, brother. I just, at first I ain't understanding a lot of things, but I appreciate you. And you take that statement. Why he said shalom to me? This is how people that heavily deal with rejection, their mind just start being suspicious. Why did everybody else who came to me and said shalom? Did he really mean something behind that shalom? He didn't really want to come to me. He just come to me because he might hurt me saying nobody comes to me. Then they come up with something in their mind based off fear. But they really want to be accepted. So what happens after that? They might experience the fear of rejection, and then it repels people. And that's why sometimes as a leader, you got to be bigger than that and see the person need rather than their faults. Because a lot of times what's in you or what's in the tribe, the person's spirit is calling them to it, but their flesh is repelling them. Why? Because they are little boys and little girls afraid of being rejected. And some you have to overcome that and pull them to a place where their fullness can be brought to. Now, if they just too crazy with it, then you got to go ahead and kick them out. But what? Let me show you what happens. The fear of rejection happens. All these thoughts go in their mind. Then they reject the person, other people. Then self-rejection happens. Then a cycle of self-rejection is nobody loves me. Nobody want to be around me. They begin to question themselves what it is about me. I'm the black sheep. You know, that's when self-pity come in. Paralyzing of your future come in. The wanting to kill yourself come in. Or you take on a personality of not caring, period, and you really do care. All right, let's keep going. Proverbs 4:23, it says, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of the heart comes the issues of life. So say you've been healed of all that. Now it's important for you to be the gatekeeper of your heart, where you guarding your heart, because normally you get hurt based off somebody that you trust. This is why it's important to let the Most High reveal and bring friendships together, covenants, people together, because you have to guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it will flow the issues of life, whether they're good or bad. You have to be careful who you decide to trust, because it will determine the course of your life. You have to start paying attention to who comes into your life, because they can change the course of it for the good or for the better. Some of us been hurt by leaders, and it's hard for us to trust leaders. So we become suspicious of leaders and become fault finding of when the Most High is trying to put you under a leader that's after his own heart. Now we do a whole bunch of comparing of what we was in before to see where we at now. Why? Because we still hurt and injured. Knowing that what we was in before doesn't compare to where we going now and who he has you under. But you never put your trust in man. You put your trust in the Yahuwah and the pattern of what you seen in a man, not the man itself. That if a man go off, then it hinders your relationship with the Most High and you become a castaway. Ain't no man got that kind of control in my life. We're gonna move. We move. I'm trying to help you with this depression and doubt. I'm trying to help you. We're gonna get into some stuff that's gonna completely help that to you. All right. Now, in this, you have to, in your phases in your life, you have to watch your conclusions. It's not about what you went through, but it's about how you have interpreted what you went through. That makes the difference of everything. Because if you interpret, this is where depression sinks in. It comes in first through doubt. But when doubt relays a aspect of permanence in your mind, then you become depressed, because you are interpreting this trial, you're interpreting what you're going through, you're interpreting this hurt, that you will always be like this, and not realizing that everything in life changes. Nothing stays the same. But the enemy will make you make a permanent decision about a temporary problem. You're in the natural. You can look at the change of the season, that everything changes. You don't see trees running and up and moving because it's winter, looking for summer, because my season is going to change. Happily ever after American form of relationship with Yahuwah and thinking because I got with Yahuwah that everything supposed to go well and stuff ain't going well, I'm running. No, I got to do just like the trees, put my roots in the ground and go through every season. But it's about what you interpreted about what you're going through. If you interpret it as to be permanent, then you will stay in a paralyzed position in self-rejection, in the fear of rejection. Because you'll take that rejection that you done had with man and think that's your relationship with the Most High and think he don't like you too. And think he don't love you. Think you're not worthy. And all of us black people deal with that. Why? Because we've been taught in this nation that we're nothing, that we'll never be nothing, that we're beasts, that we're the lowest of the earth. So how in the world can we be his chosen people? Because we're so rejected. Then we fearful and thinking that the Most High will reject us, that make us continuously reject ourselves. Because it's about our interpretation about our experience here. And then you have to watch not just your interpretation, but your conclusions. Because whatever you conclude about your situation would dictate your life. Whatever you concluded about the last relationship that you was in would dictate your life, because it'll make you say, I never do that again. I don't even want marriage no more. I don't even want a relationship no more. I don't even want friendship no more. I don't even want to trust the Most High no more. How did you interpret it and how do you conclude it? Because depression sets in when permanence is the thought of the mind and you feel like you will forever be like this with no change. Then you become stagnated, depressed, and can't move forward. Then internally you go in array. All right, let's move quickly now. I'm finna move a little quicker. Overcoming doubt and depression through understanding the purpose of the mind. I'm finna show you the mechanism of how the mind works and how you can overcome doubt. Because if you get it at the thought, you won't feel depression because you can't feel what you can't think about. But we have to understand how this works. So let's keep going. Almost finished, y'all. Almost finished. Am I helping you? All right. Now, this is how we have to look at our mind. Number one, our mind is not an entity that works on its own. It's ours. It is to be disciplined. It is to be controlled. It is to be mastered. Because the function of your mind is to produce for you. It's to produce for you, to take something out the spirit realm, to put it in your mind, and then to manifest in your natural. You have to look at your mind as a garden waiting for seeds to be planted, to germinate, to take root, then to manifest. I'm going to say that again. Notice this. Your mind is a garden, just like your garden outside. You decide what you're going to put, what seeds you're going to put in, so you can have what plants that you're going to grow in your garden. If you're going to do cucumbers, if you're going to do tomatoes, if you're going to do corn, if you're going to do fruit, you are deciding, just as it is in your garden, if you're going to do peppers, what you want to grow. That earth out there is the same thing spiritually of your mind is yours. The ground don't tell you what to do. You got to treat your mind as a child that is not going to tell you what to think. It's not going to make you conquer you. You going to put the right seeds in it, that the seeds be planted, then the seed germinates, it takes root, then it manifests. Because why? This is my garden. What are the seeds? The seeds are the thoughts that I developed to put in there. Because really, your mind is a sum of your experiences and the sum of things that you continuously see, you heard, your experience, and your association. Your mind pull from the bank of your soul. This is why we have perverted dreams. This is why we might have these perversions based off what we see in them, what we hear in, what we associated with, and what we have put. If we dealt with different things of pornography, perversions, all these type of things continuously, all these type of sex partners continuously growing up, then Hasatan or spirits are going to pull from that bank, because this stuff is stored in our soul, to make us have dreams and try to build covenants with us if we already been delivered from it. And this is why you should dedicate your dream through verbally saying, Yahuwah, I dedicate my dreams to you. I make my dreams set apart before you go to sleep every day. And if you do have a perverted dream, it's a dream. Because all they're trying to do is make covenant back with you again to get back in, but they can't make a covenant without your consciousness from an ancient perspective. So they are illegal. So if I have a perverted dream, what do? I get up, renounce it, denounce it, rebuke it. In the name of Yahusha, I denounce the rights to this dream. I denounce and renounce any covenant that was made. I denounce and divorce any spirit tie to try to tie me to that dream in the name of Yahusha. Through the power of the blood of Yahusha, you will have no foothold in my life, and anything you tried to do in my dream is counsel. And what do? I go on about my day. Because I am not my dreams. So I don't let a dream dictate where my relationship with Yahusha is at. I rebuke it. Because I'm not going to let nothing cause doubt in my mind to make me feel like I ain't where I'm supposed to be. I know I ain't looking at pornography now. I know I ain't entertaining lust. I know I ain't entertaining other women. I know I've been walking righteously. So you think I'm finna let a dream paralyze my walk? No, sir. No, not me. But going back to this, your mind is your garden. So you determine what seeds you put in. Now I control it. Now I meditate on that word day and night. Why? Because I'm putting those seeds in this garden that's going to be planted, germinated, go take root, then manifest. I decide. My mind don't decide for me. I don't care if there's a situation or circumstance. I'm telling my mind to shut up. We ain't thinking like that. Or I'm gonna have the conversation to put those thoughts at ease. Right? How your thoughts develop. Your thoughts are developed through your observation. That's why you got to watch what you're seeing. Through your hearing, you got to watch what you're listening to. Through your association, you got to watch what people are in your life that might be speaking negatively. And your experiences. So if I control what I see, if I control what I hear, if I control who I associate with, and I control in a sense of killing or denouncing the experiences that I had outside of Yahuwah that caused the pain, then I can flush my mind clean and begin to grow the way I want it to grow. I want to learn about faith, so I'm going to put seeds of faith in my mind. I want to develop a prayer life, so I'm going to put seeds of prayer life. I'm going to observe what the scripture is saying about prayer. I'm going to hear what the word is saying about prayer. I'm going to get around people that pray. I'm going to make my association that my experiences may change. I'm going to go and develop and listen to experiences. If I got to go to YouTube to find experience, online to find experiences of people development in prayer, I'm going to do that. Why? And then watch when you focus like that, it manifests for you. Now nobody can be in control of my spiritual growth but me. Now I know what doubt does, because the end of doubt bringing death. So now depression is a choice based off the thoughts that I entertained. It's a choice. Yeah, am I saying that we're not going to go through things? We're not going to hurt? We're not going to feel? No. But in the end, I'm not going to let the external make my internal management go crazy. I might cry, I might hurt, but I'm going to get it together and sober up. All right, you got a conscious mind, you got a subconscious mind. 15 minutes and I'm gonna be done, hopefully. Conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is your ability to discern. That's what you're listening to me with. That's where you're deciding to choose whether you are to take in or you're opening your spirit to receive from me. That's your conscious mind, where you're fully aware of what I'm saying and you are deciding to receive it or reject it. But then you have a subconscious mind, that which is your heart, that it takes repetition from what the conscious mind allows for it to become a part of my being. Repetition. If I'm on a Navy ship and you have a captain at the top, you got people below the ship that can't see, and all they doing is rowing and turning and pushing. Now, that's the subconscious. The subconscious don't know where it's going because it's leaving it up to the consciousness to get them there. So all they doing is whatever the conscious mind allow, they just rolling, whether that's good or bad. So if the conscious mind allowing perversion and pornography, what's going to happen? The subconscious begins to go that route because they don't know where it's going. It's just dependent upon the conscious mind. And the more repetitive you are, that's where you allow it to get in your subconscious. And this is where it becomes a stronghold. This is where you got to cast the demons out from. Because I done dealt with something so long, because whatever I continuously see and I could continuously hear, I become. Now I got to pull this out of my nature. That's why it talks about love Yahuwah with all your heart, mind, and your what? Soul, your very being. This is what LeBron James, Michael Jordan, different ones, they played basketball with their heart. It's a part of their subconscious part because they practiced it so much that it became them. This is why Deuteronomy chapter 6 says this, because it's trying to get the word in our heart. Let me go there real quick. In verse 5, and you shall love Yahuwah with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I commanded you this day, you shall be in your heart. You shall repeat them diligently to your children, shall talk of them when you sit down in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, when you rise up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be a token between your eyes. And you shall write them upon the gates, and it shall be when Yahuwah your Elohim have brought you out from the land which he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give you a greatly and goodly city. Why is he wanting you put it everywhere? Because he's trying to get it in your subconscious. This is why it says when he come into the when he make a covenant with us again, that he's going to put these laws in our what heart to do them. So you are in control of what you want to get in your heart. If you say, man, I want to become a business owner, I want to be able to own this and do this in business, what do you need to do? Focus this conscious mind on things of business, that you may continue to do it, so your mind, you can plant the seeds of it in your mind, that it can germinate, take root, and then it will begin to manifest. You'll begin to draw business plans to you. You'll begin to draw business people to you. You'll begin to have a brick and mortar, a place to be able to do business. You know, your mind must become your servant. So again, you are in control of what you consciously look at in order to put in your heart. Because once it get in your heart, it has become a part of your being, right? Let me keep going. Your mind also, now pay attention to this. This is very important. Your mind needs a future. This is how you control it. This is how you make it your servant. It needs a future to look or work towards. You can't just let it be. You have to give it a future to work towards. that your mind will be consumed towards this future of whatever it is. But it needs a future. Not only does it need a future, it needs a focus, which is a discipline. Now I see what the end goal is going to be with the future, but what's going to be my route? How can I focus? What I'm going to do on a daily basis? What I'm going to be building? What am I going to be developed so I can keep my mind focused on something, that I can make something my ritual, my daily routine, my daily schedule. How much word am I going to put in me? Am I going to behold this word every day? Rather than just allowing my thoughts. Now I'm giving it a focus. It has a future. It has a focus through discipline. And then it needs fuel. What is fuel? It needs action. What are my action steps that I'm going to take to accomplish this future, accomplish this goal? I have to swing at the ball sometimes. And I have to keep fueling this action, fueling this faith. How am I doing that? Through testimonies. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And I'm going to find somebody that has overcame, find somebody that have done this, and listen to them, because the purpose of mentorship is for you to get to the same place as the mentor without experiencing his losses. So this is how I'm fueling it. I'm building my faith through testimonies, through witnessing, through looking at certain things of people that have accomplished what I'm trying to accomplish, and then taking those same action steps. A future, a focus, and fuel. Because if you don't, like the old people say, idle mind is Hasatan playground. If you don't give it nothing, you better give it something, because your mind gonna produce now. It's gonna produce. But it's either going to produce based off what you give it, or it's going to be produced based off what Hasatan give it. Because Hasatan will get in there, give you thoughts, make them seducing to get them implanted, that he may implant his doctrine in your mind, that it may manifest in your life. This is why the conscious mind is so important. This is why Super Bowl advertisement paid billions of dollars just for 30 seconds. Why? Because they after that conscious mind, because everybody's trying to get to the heart, to the soul. This is why you have 300 and some channels of cable TV with nothing but doctrines of seducing spirit that's trying to implant in that mind. And this is why they show it to you continuously. Why? Because they're trying to make it part of your subconscious. This is why they have billboards that they pray, and you drive by that every day. You seeing it, your subconscious is seeing this thing every day. But one day you're going to get hungry and go get what you see on that billboard, because it's going to be in your subconscious. But what if I know this system and now I can control it? Now doubt can't live in me, because I learned how to doubt my doubts. That way depression can't come. Now I wait on doubt to let me know that the Most High told me to do the faith-filled word that he gave me. If you have to start off doing that. Or I begin to doubt my doubts with the word of Elohim. Or I told you to do something, you get doubt come in your head. You say, no, I doubt that. Greater is he that is in me than he that's in the word. I mean, he that's in the world. Yahushua in me, the hope of glory. I'm doubting my doubts with the word. You have to trigger yourself. All right, we're almost done. I hope, please realize your thoughts are developed through your observation, what you see, what you hear, who you associate with, and your experiences. You have to control all of that. You know you can control your experiences by having the right association, trusting the right people, building yourself with people that have built a pattern of good works. All right. I got to give you this, and then we rolling up out of here. All right. I'm giving you more light to overcome the darkness of depression and doubt. Doubt your doubts. Now watch this. Wish I can show you this, but you'll get it on the PowerPoint. Something in you that's called self-talk. We're going to get into a little practical aspect, right? Self-talk. It's called self-vocalization system. Research that. Self-vocalization system. That's the voice in our head. That's what that little voice that you hearing when you listening. You're like, self-vocalization system. What that about? Ooh, that's good. What that talking about? I ain't never heard of that. I mean, you talk to yourself. That little voice that's talking while I'm talking. That's called self-vocalization system. It's been measured. Well, yeah, that's a good scripture. I just looked at you. Look at that. Says, as a man thinking in his heart, so is he. But as a man continues to think, so he remains. But we have 50,000 self-talks in one day. 50,000. Well, this is what's going on in that brain. 50,000 self-talks in one day. Your brain can talk 4 times as fast as I'm speaking. This is why you have to go back and listen to lessons, because your brain can been did something. This is why I say things when I'm teaching. Pay attention. Bring your mind back. Sometimes I get real loud. I might clap my hands. Why? Because I'm trying to trigger you back from that self-talk to align you back to listening. The brain can talk 4 times as fast as I'm speaking. 80% of self-talk is negative or limits you in some type of way. You have to know this is going on. 80% of it is negative. Why? Because we have an evil inclination, nature, a part of us that we're trying to take on the divine nature. But 80% of it is negative, limiting. This is why some people formulate some stuff in their mind completely, and you wonder why. What in the world just happened? How in the world they get that? We are only aware of 5% of the negative talking, unless a situation happens. And when a circumstance happens, then all the negative thoughts, you start becoming aware of it. For every positive thought, that is 4 negative thoughts. Depending on the ratio, will determine if a person is bipolar, manic depression, or schizophrenia. If a person start moving to every 1 positive thought, he have 8 negative thoughts, he start moving to the bipolar regions. And the person, for every 1 positive thought, that he start moving to 10 negative thoughts, he start moving into the schizophrenia or manic depressive type of status. So if I know this is going on, then I have to change it. Now, the issue is I can't turn this system off, right? Let me show you something. I can have this notebook in front of you, and I'm telling you all day, hey, don't look at this blue notebook. Don't look at this blue notebook. Stop looking at it. Don't look at this blue notebook. What are y'all doing? You looking at the blue notebook. I can say, don't look at it. Stop looking at it. You're going to look at it. I say, don't think that. Don't think that. Don't think that. But if I tell you don't look at the blue notebook and put a black one in front of you, you don't see the blue notebook no more. Why? Because now your focus then changed on what's before you now. Now the blue notebook then been replaced. And if it's not getting enough imagery, it eventually dies. What does that mean? Your job is not to try to focus on what not to think, but to focus on replacing the negative thinking with positive thinking, which is the word of Elohim that eventually kills the darkness. because what it has starved it out. Now it's not about what you just got to stop doing, but it's what you have to start doing that replaces what you have to stop, that dies. Because whatever you feed will grow. Whatever you starve will die. What are you feeding? What are you placing? So the objective is not to just kill the system, but to unplug from it. Right? When I know these series of negative thoughts coming, unplug from it. Interrupt it. Stop it. Don't let it sit place. Because now I'm becoming more aware of this 80% of my negative thinking. And when I watch the pattern develop it, I'm unplugging. I'm going to interrupt that negative thinking. I'm interrupt that doubt, because if I allow doubt to set in, it's going to send me to depression that's going to eventually kill something in me. So I unplug from it. How do I unplug from it? If I got to yell out, no, we're not doing that. Or if I got to start singing, if I got to go into prayer, if I got to go into the word, if I got to say, thank you, Yahuwah, if I got to say, Yahuwah Sabaoth, in order to trigger, to interrupt the thinking. Then I go to prayer. Then I get into the word. Then I replace it with the word of Elohim. But I'm not going to sit there and allow this system to happen. I'm aware of the negative self-talk that's 80% limited or will limit me. And how does it work when you get a directive for something you're trying to do? Or when we first tried to start Rebirth, you know how much negative thoughts came out here? But we're like, where you starting at? We finna hit this thing and go. Oh, you gonna start an Israelite group. You know how many Israelite groups there's already out there? What's gonna make you different? You don't even know everything. What's gonna make you different? You think people want to hear you? Think people want to see y'all? When there's millions of YouTube channels out there? Look at all this 80% of negative stuff that floods your mind when you want to do something. But what I did, unplug from it. What Josh did, unplug from it and replaced it with truth. Disrupt its system until you can replace the system. Until 80% of your self-talk is positive. This is why you got to listen to messages. You got to listen to the word day and night. Faith come by hearing and hearing the word. You got to listen to motivation. Something that motivates you to get out of bed, that motivates you to keep going, that motivates you to manage your internal. Let me show you these real experiments, and then we're done. Now, they did an experiment on a dog because they was trying to understand depression and put gauges on it. And look this up. It's called learn helplessness. And what they did, again, learn helplessness. What they did, they put a harness. No, they had a dog, and they would send a dog through the maze. And at first, they would allow the dog to just, trot through the maze and do what he want to do. And he start, peeing and paying attention to other stuff, really wasn't going through the maze. So then they put a harness on the dog. And there would be stimuli response. The harness had a shock, and it would shock the dog. And the dog noticed when it shocked him, he would begin to move in a hurry, and he'll get to the point where trying to shock him again, and eventually he'll find his way through the maze, because he know when he go through the maze, he won't get shocked no more. So the dog started to realizing that this stimuli response, that when I go through shock and have some shock situation, it's going to push me through the maze. And if I could just get through the maze, then the shock will stop. So they noticed that pain pushed the dog to try to get through the maze. But they also set up another instance with the same dog, that they would put the harness on him and shock him, but they didn't allow him to move no further to be able to go through the maze. So he could be shocked, and he was trying to find his way, but he couldn't move because he was still tied up. He'd be shocked again. He's trying to find his way. He couldn't move because he'd be tied up. And they kept shocking him. After a while, the dog gave up and got used to the shocks. the shock. Then he learned to live the shocks. Then they took the harness off him, and he wouldn't move because he was still harnessed in his mind. Now he became numb to his future or getting through the maze. Why? Because he thought it was no way out, that this was going to be his life permanently. So he learned how to stay in a place of helplessness, because now this helplessness gave him attention. So this is why some people have to create the atmosphere of helplessness, because that's all they used to. You can show them the path of freedom. You can show them the way, but they done become so numb to it that they don't even trust it, that they'll rather stay in a place of learned helplessness. And you'll wear yourself out trying to help them, because they think that this is the only way for me. Then they did another experience, right? They was trying to experience what it would be if we're not able to dream. So, and I forgot what the name of this is, but you can look it up. Well, you're not able to dream, right? So what they would end up doing, they would have these individuals, right? They would put them in this room, allow them to go to sleep, put some mechanism over their head, and if they start to dream, they would shock, they would wake them up. And each time the dream tried to come, they would wake it up. What they noticed about the people, that they became angry, they became irritable, they became frustrated. They just walk around with this heaviness. And then time went on, they said that, well, we want to see what the effects of daydreaming is if you're not able to daydream, right? And daydreaming is really being able to watch that movie, whether it be good or bad, that's in your mind, a faith-filled movie or a movie of fear and doubt, right? That plays in your imagination. So they begin to do the same thing with daydreaming, shock them, but they can't daydream. They can't do this. And the same thing happened. They had to stop because people would get irritable. They would be angry. They would be frustrated. They would become mean individuals. Now, if you take a people that have been built to have negative self-talk, 80%, they built in a nation as slaves. Now, for sure, our percentage is probably greater. You harness them, that they learn helplessness, that they can't get out. And then you take away their ability to dream or move forward. What do you think you're going to have? The only end to that is death and suicide, or the killing of each other. So this is why it's imperative to replace Yahuwah word. Say, man don't live by bread alone, but every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahuwah, to replace the system. Or no, to replace the negative talk and replace it with positive talk. To take that harness off of you through deliverance and letting you see that there is a way of freedom, the way that leads to life. As narrow as a path, only you can follow it, but it will lead you to life. And you have to die to yourself. Pull that harness off. Let that stronghold go off. And allow the Ruach HaKodesh to make you a prisoner of Yahuwah. And allow your dreams to be what Yahuwah desired. Kingdom over self. His kingdom come. And for his kingdom come, your kingdom has to go. That you find your fulfillment with fulfilling. Last thing, and we done. Should take me 5 minutes to do this. The way to overcome doubt. I said all that to get you to get this. The way to overcome this, what Yahuwah showed me. The way to overcome doubt is through knowledge. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of knowledge. Knowledge is the seed of change. Knowledge overcomes doubt and faith overcomes fear because doubt and fear work together. And I give you this example. Take a gun. If you ain't never really used to using a gun, take a gun. I'm gonna use my hand as a gun. This gun, I'm afraid of it because of what it can do to me. And I doubt myself because the low knowledge that I have about this gun. That's why I stay away from it. Right? That's what you might say. So you doubt yourself because you have a lack of knowledge and you're fearful of the gun because of what the gun can do to you. Now, when you increase your knowledge base of how this gun operates, what's the ins and outs of the gun, what makes the gun go off, how do you unload, how you load it up, how you clean it, the whole full operation of the gun, you got the manual of it. The knowledge makes you overcome the doubting of yourself. And now, since your knowledge has increased of it, now your faith have increased. Now I have the faith to carry it around. Why? Because I understand the full makeup of it. Now I use action to overcome the fear because I'm not afraid of it no more. I respect it, but I'm not afraid of it because I completely know what I'm doing. So to overcome doubt is knowledge of the word of Yahuwah that will give you faith to overcome what's over you. But first, you have to admit, where's my doubt coming from? Do I really doubt the Most High? Am I doubting myself? Am I doubting that He loves me? Am I doubting that He would do this? Where's my doubt and my fear coming from? Is it coming from how I seen my mother do it? Is it coming from how I seen my father do it? Is it coming from these things? Where's my doubt coming from? Then you have to kill your ideology of how you think your life should be right now. Oh, I'm supposed to be married and have, beautiful children in the big old house and nice cars and all that type of stuff. Because depression comes because you have an ideology in your mind of where you think you should be. Now you're not content. Well, where the Most High have you, because the Most High say, I need you right here at this point right here. Number one, I got to catch you up, but I need you at this point because of what it's going to produce in you. So I have to kill in my mind where I think I should be and learn to embrace where He has me. Because it's going to help me appreciate the promise of what He gives to me. Do you thank Joseph? Do you thank Daniel? Do you thank King David? Do you thank the prophets? Do you thank Yahushua was happy with where they was at? No. They became content because they knew that they had to go through this to get to the promise. So they killed the ideology in their mind of where they think they should be. Do you thank Job? He had to do that. Joseph had to do that to embrace where they are, to know they're in the perfect will of Yahuwah in order to get to the promise, that they don't think that their situation is them or that their situation is permanent, where depression can come in. So when you have knowledge, and knowledge moves you into action, which is your faith, because you're trying to come into the fullness of knowing. Now I know what I believe. Now I know that the word is true. Now I know the word is in my heart. But between knowledge and know is faith, and the vehicle of faith, which is action steps that get you to the point of know. Because once you get to the point of know, now you're in the point of truth, and now this is internally in you. Now you have became trusting Yahuwah with all your heart, lean not to your own understanding, acknowledge Him in all your ways, and He has directed your paths. And when you get to the point of no, now you can become the light that others may see because you know what He done for you. All right. So I hope this able to help y'all. Know it took me 2 hours to get done, but I hope this help you to be able to overcome. Now, there's something you're going to have to listen to like over and over. You're going to have to internalize this and get it. That it may help you get it inside of you. Make it your conscious effort to listen to it, to it get into your subconscious, because I promise you, you're going to have some next week. You're going to have some weeks. And now I didn't taught this, and I know I'm going to have challenges, but I am that committed and had a calculated determination that I already practiced this. That's how I'm able to teach it. But that don't stop situations from happening. So we're going to work. We're going to work. We're going to work. And even if you have to say little things, like it's little stuff, help me. I used to learn this in football. I used to say I get better. And my coach would say, get better every day. I would have little phrases for me to internalize. I'm getting better every day. When I used to play ball, to help me get over nervousness, I used to tell myself, you perform best under pressure. You perform best under pressure. Then I began to internalize that. I would take pressure of playing in front of people and internalize, because I said it so much in my subconscious and acted upon it that I became it. And I used that with schoolwork, preparing lessons, all that type of stuff. If I didn't get a chance to get it all done when the pressure is on, I embrace it. You see what I'm saying? I don't buckle under it and fall and start acting crazy. When the pressure is on, I rise up to it. You know? So sometimes you got to give yourself a statement to keep you going forward. All right, but I'm finna get off here. Love y'all. Hope this able to really help you get where you need to be. We're going to bid you shalom, shalom, and one more shalom. Overcoming overcoming depression and the spirit of doubt. Next time, I probably deal with overcoming perversion and where perversion is coming from. In the spirit of infirmity. We'll see. All right. Love y'all. We're going to get on off here. But let me pray for everybody. Yahuwah, we just thank you. We ask that you mix this word with faith, Yahuwah. We ask that you let this permeate throughout their spirit. We ask that they take the practicality of this word. We pray for the protection of their minds and their spirits from attacks, Yahuwah, that they may get this word inside of them and know how to apply it. We pray, Yahuwah, that they get scriptures on overcoming doubt and begin to meditate on those scriptures. They get scriptures on overcoming depression, Yahuwah, and they begin to meditate on those scriptures where they see it day and night, that it becomes a part of their subconscious, that they're able to speak these things. Yahuwah, we give y'all glory, we give y'all honor, we give y'all praise in the name of Yahusha. Hallelujah. Shalom.